So it really doesn't help.
So let me just emphasize 2 points that you made, highlight them. One is that these are organized, most of them, if I understand correctly, Key, are you see as organized efforts. They're not a teenager wandering through the parking lot and then wandering off with something. And secondly, you've seen several different vehicles involved. Is that right?
That's correct. It's absolutely organized and well planned out. It's not, like you said, a local teenager just grabbing stuff out of cars. They actually are almost professionals, know what they're doing. The fact that it only takes them 30 seconds is very telling.
Yeah, and then that's the other thing. I mean, I do think that I want to be sure I raise with you issues that neighbors have raised, and one of them is about a parking attendant that I'm told you've committed to have in that parking lot. You have said to me, I've raised this with you personally already, and you said you have that person. I take it that what you're saying here in describing how this happens is that a parking attendant couldn't dash across the parking lot and stop this in the.
So I think we don't give the thieves enough credit. If they see an attendant, they probably won't hit the car. Just when the attendant is, putting away the shopping carts or assisting a customer, that presents an opportunity for them to do it.
Okay, let me turn.
And my parking lot attendant is not police by any means, right?
Again, I'm going to move through this rather quickly. So June, would you just introduce yourself and tell us what happened in your case?
Absolutely. Thank you for the meeting and for trying to help us. I'm the owner of a Chevy Chase stationary engine the suite on 3800 across from CVS. Back for Keith, what he said, I don't think this is random. I think they study us. I think they've been watching us, that we're vulnerable, or maybe there's a wealth community that nothing will be done. These gentlemen, two gentlemen walk into our store daytime. He knew I have approximately 4 cameras. He didn't care the whole time. He's watching the camera and he's approaching us, coming with a small talk, sat on my table, pretend that he wants something right below my desk. He grabbed my purse right in front of me. He knew I knew what he was doing, but at the same time, he continues doing because he knew that he was a threat for me. But he grabbed my purse under my desk, grabbed my wallet, and in a matter of 10 minutes, he swapped every single credit card of mine. Plus, he took the wallet and my personal information and my IDs and everything. There was not even 1 second that he showed fears. There's not even 1 second that he was intimidated by the camera. The same time, he walked confident, he walked out confident. He was in my store for 11 minutes. Now, what I want to add into this, as owner of this place since 2017, this past year, I have noticed a lot of people with a transition between both bus stops, either on the other side of a CVS or either my side. They're not belong to us, they're not belong to the neighborhood, and there's been a lot of transaction of drugs right in front of my store. I don't know, it must be marijuana, whatever it is, but what it is, I believe that the attraction is coming is that there's some transactions happen right in our neighborhood. And they know everybody's there, it's just nice and comfortable, nobody's gonna mistreat them, nobody's gonna, like on my case, how dare me to treat somebody out of my store. So I think they're becoming comfortable that we're just a nice people and we're not gonna be aggressive enough to do something.
Okay, thank you. That's very helpful. I see Aaron Gordon on the line. Aaron owns Little Beast right at that corner of McKinley and Connecticut. Aaron, have you had problems with either theft or break-ins? And if you have, could you just very briefly describe them?
Yeah, hey, thank you very much. Yeah, we've had probably
Long pause.
Sorry.
As you check your connection there, Aaron, we're not, at least I'm not hearing you. Aaron. Well, Aaron, we'll come back to you. I'm not hearing you. Let's
not sure what to do. If you're
Aaron,
not hearing me, I'm not sure what to do.
well, you're coming in now. Just say your piece fast because you're coming in a little stuttered.
6 break-ins where it's definitely professional crews. They break the side window. They come in very quickly, steal whatever they can. They know where things are. They're definitely an expert crew. They wear masks so that the cameras don't really do much. I think we installed a very loud siren, and I think actually that siren has done more to deter theft than anything. Because I'm speaking quickly, I'll also say that we have had people pop in and steal things off people's tables. There hasn't been a ton of that, but there has been some. And living in this neighborhood, we have snatch and grabs frequently, going through from every car to car to car. And like I said, definitely professional crews. It's a big issue for the neighborhood.
Okay. Okay. Well, with that setup, Captain, we want to hear as much as you can give us about what you're doing about this. And then I think some of these owners are going to want to make suggestions about what they think would help.
And
So,
Peter, I'd like to share as well. Just did everybody get a chance to share? Because I feel like there's more stories out there.
yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Just about last Monday, somebody walked into our art studio, was walking around, and then just walked out with
Let me just say, you should just do the setup. You're artsy beast. You ought to just tell them where you are and
yeah. We're on the Strip, 5518 Connecticut, business owner, art studio. We had shoplifting, right? Come in and just steal a purse and a wallet. But what I wanted to mention is last year there was a car in the back, and this is a reported incident actually, so it can be looked up. There was a car in the back of my studio. It was there, and people sometimes park, and I, just let them unless it's taking too long. And anyway, I went because it's been too long. I went to check, and this car the window was a half open, and I was like, "What's this car doing here?" Anyway, there was a wads full of marijuana underneath the seats and wads full of cash in a back seat, like big 2-gallon Ziploc bags. So I was like a little bit disturbed because at first I thought it was a homeless person. I felt even bad for asking them to move, but then I kind of was like, okay, this is strange. I wasn't going to do anything, and my students convinced me to call 311, which is what I did. And pretty much the moment, I guess they knew, they must have, anyway, the moment the cops showed up, the car pulled out. And the cops told me that they saw the car pull out and leave, but they didn't want to pursue it for whatever reason, because they said it's a trifecta where there's cash and bags of drugs, there's guns. So they didn't want to cause an incident because they called it a trifecta. So I thought this was just like someone parking in the back and an innocent incident, but this ended up being something a little bit more serious. So also there's been a lot of issues, not with, I'm not gonna persons who have mental challenges, but even homeless persons, I'm fine with. This is just something in a city that we have to deal with. But what I am nervous about is aggression. So we're seeing persons that are hanging out on our streets and our blocks, and they're being
Yes.
aggressive. They're pointing at children, saying random things. It just happened today. Random things, obscenities, and I want to know what to do about that. Do I call 311? Do I report it ahead of time before an incident happens? Do I need to wait for someone to get smacked in the face before I do something about it? Like, what should I do? How do I help you
Yeah,
with this?
I want to point out on top of you, there's a lot of, it's almost like disability people that are either homeless or hopeless, poorly dressed, stinking, street person, and then suddenly they walk in the store and they want attention and they want to grab it, and then it's hard on us how to treat them or how to not, and then they offend the client and becomes an inconvenient moment and the environment. And I hear what you're saying. It's exactly happening to us as well.
So let me.
Yesterday,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
sorry, yesterday it was a senior lady. She's probably in her 60s. She's totally filthy. She's full of blood on her shoes. And she want to come in, and I want her to come in. I want to treat her well, but it's clear she's mentally well. And then she started grabbing things, and then she got in a fight with another client because she grabbed the same thing. It's very odd. It's things that it hasn't happened before, and certainly we're just coming from all direction. But it doesn't mean. I don't know. I don't know what's happening there. I don't know if it's the bus. I don't know if the drug is sitting there, but it's also full of marijuana. I cannot have in a day that I open the store that we have to put a candlelight because the store is totally contaminated for the amount of marijuana in front of our store.
Okay, so let me do this. I want to, having tried to help business owners on Connecticut Avenue with homeless people or unhoused people, I know something about the complication of that. And I think we should, let me bracket that and come back to that in a minute. I don't want to lose Captain Haskis.
Sure.
And I want to focus first on this immediate rash of break-ins, and then we'll segue back to this issue of homeless. And I have to say, it's a huge surprise to me that we've got dealing out of the CVS parking lot. I mean, I've been the ANC commissioner for 4 years. I know we've got problems with trash bins. I know we've got problems with vermin. I know we've got these break-ins and so forth. I know we've got traffic problems. I have not heard of dealing, but that's not to say I'm not disputing it. I'm just saying, Jesus, we have more problems than I thought we had. So, Captain, are you there? And can you come on and talk first? Just focus on this issue of the car break-ins.
Thank you, Commissioner. Again, thank you all for having the meeting. Lieutenant Oliver had his illness, so he couldn't make that meeting yesterday. But
oh, what happened?
It looks like he is rejoining, Peter.
Okay.
I still see him there, so
Yeah.
give him a minute.
okay, it looks like
Yeah, you're good. And why don't you come on camera too? Do that.
hopefully I'm back on camera shortly. So thank you all for having this meeting with Lieutenant Oliver's illness. I wanted to make sure that somebody higher than a sergeant talked to you all about this, because this has been a very, we have considered this very important. And we have been following up with these theft from autos by sending our crime suppression team up there, unmarked vehicles up there. And I have been checking it out myself, including today. Does everybody hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
we do.
we hear you.
Oh no, now we don't. We lost you again, Captain. At the crucial moment, you coming back on?
Yeah, he's coming.
This is like the telegraph.
Does anybody,
Yeah, we're it's a little like telegraphic messages from you.
yeah, this has not happened before. Does everybody hear me right now?
Yep,
We can hear you.
I
Yeah.
will speak very. Okay, great. So we've been working very hard on getting control of these theft from autos. We have a few leads that we're following. it is only a matter of time before we catch these thieves. Does everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. Now we don't.
You know, it's something when every time he asks if we can hear, he drops and then comes right back in. So,
Captain, we're waiting for you again. Captain, can you hear us? We can't hear you yet.
Could you hear me?
Can
I'm
hear
going
you
to see
now.
if the video is. I'm going to see if maybe the video is taxing this a bit much, and I'll see if stopping the video will allow this connection to
Okay.
come back.
All right.
So I'm not sure where my
You said
speaking
it's only a matter of
was.
it's only a matter of time before you catch these thieves. Tell us a little about why you're so confident about that.
So we have several images, and we have found the property. We have video of the perpetrators trying to use credit cards at different locations in the District of Columbia. So we have some good images, and I don't want to give a timetable, but I am confident that we will close this. I'm not sure when, though. So until then, I would ask, since they are they are professionals at this. I visited a theft from auto yesterday off Wisconsin Avenue, where there was somebody parked in a vehicle next to the victim's vehicle, and the person never even noticed the break-in. That's how quick they are and how fast they are. And the way they smashed the window, you could barely even notice it, even from across the street. And so in the meantime, until we catch them, we just ask that please don't leave valuable, to just alert your customers, just don't leave valuables in the vehicle. And we are stepping up patrols up there, but they are professionals. If they see a marked police car, they'll come back. And of course, I can't keep a marked police car there at all times.
Well, Captain, I want to raise with you. We're pleased to hear that you're making progress on this. I want to just raise a question that Ki-Yoon of Magruder's has just put in the chat, and then I've heard quite a bit about in the last week, which is that MPD now has these camera towers, these mobile camera towers, so that they can be used on a temporary basis to go after rashes of break-ins like this. I've seen them down in at the Park and Shop in Cleveland Park, and frankly, the police blue light at the top of the tower, it seems as much a deterrent as the cameras do. Although I don't know, you probably have experience with this and have some sense of whether these work or not. Is it possible that such equipment could be brought to our neighborhood?
Yeah, I've put in a request for one, so I'm not sure when that will we'll get it up here. They've had a few go down due to technical and mechanical issues, so we're short a few. So the one that is fixed next, I'm hoping to bring up to Chevy Chase up in the up by the Magruders and the CVS through there.
And I just raised, as we think about doing this, an issue on behalf of some of the people who are on this call tonight. There is this was raised by Kathy Ledane, who lives on McKinley, right, just 2 houses or 3 behind the CVS parking lot, and she just. I think it would be reassuring to her and to other neighbors, including others on 39th Street, if you could tell us whether the cameras can be aimed so that there's not any intruding on residents' privacy. this is a borderline between a commercial area and private residences, and so these cameras can be pretty well. The focus can be pretty well trained on public space and not private space. Is that right, Captain?
That's right. They will not have cameras pointed at homes. Well, not directly at homes, maybe down the block that has homes, but you don't have a camera that goes right to a house. We're not even allowed to operate like that.
So let me open the.
Ask him a question. There he is. I thought you had dropped again.
Oh,
Can you tell me what is the technical name for that camera system? And can you also tell me if you know what the budgetary request is? And the reason why I ask is the ANC is getting ready to start preparing a budget request letter. And that might be something that we might want to put in that letter, is to get MPD Second District additional budget dollars to have those cameras.
So yeah, that's always very much appreciated. I don't know the budget or anything like that. I don't deal with any of the budgetary stuff. That's downtown.
Okay.
We call them the cameras. So the mobile camera towers.
Okay. Can you say that again? You broke out just a little bit.
The mobile camera tower.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
And while we're on the subject of the mobile camera tower, I see a question from former Commissioner Peter Lynch saying, have those towers been proven to reduce crime rates?
I think more so than not. I mean, the results can be mixed, but I would say more so than not. But they're not. Please don't believe that they're this panacea that they're going to just cure crime. There are people who are brazen enough to commit violent crimes in front of those cameras.
Okay, and I noticed that somebody, Janelle Paget, has put in the chat that the cameras at the Park and Shop down in Cleveland Park are not police cameras. They're installed by the property owners. I don't know if we get to use police blue. I have to say I'm struck every time I go down there. I keep thinking, oh my God, there's a cruiser yet again at this location, and so it's quickly read as that way. I would think that that's a deterrent, but in
well,
any
you
case.
have a cruiser assigned up there at Chevy Chase. There is a Chevy Chase cruiser that's supposed to be there during the day. So, and as there is one supposed to be at Cleveland Park and one in Woodley Park, all in the central business areas of each of those. So,
do some of the business owners do any of you have questions? But particularly, I'm interested in the people whose businesses are getting hit, whether they have suggestions or questions of Captain Haskis. And Rachel, if you have anything to add on this, please do. I mean, you've been a huge help in all of this, so I want
to. Yeah, I just wanted to drop in a couple of things. I emailed a few other business owners to try to participate today, and they unfortunately weren't able to attend on such short notice. But I've talked to the owners of Child's Play, and they haven't had the break-in problems to my knowledge in their parking lot back there. But more so just the increased traffic of just people loitering in the parking lots. Them being a toy store, having people loitering where there are often a lot of children present is always something that they're concerned about. So I just wanted to point that out. And then Uriah Brunig, who owns Infinity Martial Arts, emailed me back saying that they would love to participate in more of the community safety programming and have offered to do personal safety classes, self-defense classes, things like that. So I think I'm going to work with Infinity Martial Arts and you guys just to make sure that people are, part of community safety is perceived personal safety, and if people feel like they're safe despite everything else that's going on, or that they're capable, is something that he wants to empower people with. So I just wanted to plug those two things for two business owners that weren't able to be here this evening. And then whenever you guys want to talk a little bit more about the some of the unhoused or underhoused population that is in Chevy Chase occasionally, I am very, very happy to talk a little bit more about that too.
Okay, let me, though, before we move off the topic of this, these cameras and what we can do immediately for this car break-in rash, Captain, are there things that this community could do, that these business owners, that this ANC could do to get you that mobile camera tower sooner rather than later? I mean, lobbying is, moral suasion is our business. So go ahead.
I'm sure it'll come. I'm not, but yeah, I'm sure it'll come. It just I'm gonna just have to be a little patient while the request goes through.
Okay.
Peter, you have a couple questions in the chat too.
Go ahead. What are they?
One question is, what is a CCTV versus the mobile camera tower? And how many, and this is from Nina Murphy Martin, how many businesses are participating in the DC Camera Connect program?
That's to you, Captain.
You know?
I'll answer that. So the CCTV is every not public camera. So MPD has CCTV and the businesses are all CCTV. It's just a term we use for closed caption camera, the video footage. So the businesses have CCTV and MPD has CCTV too with our mobile cameras. We do very much recommend connecting business cameras to our real-time crime center.
Oh man.
Yeah, boy, this is a bad. We lost you again, Captain.
He's coming back. Yeah, I wanted to definitely talk about the Business Camera Connect program. I'm not sure how many businesses we have on there.
While he's connecting, I did my walkthrough last week after I talked to June about some of the break-ins and sent information about the camera reimbursement program from MPD to a few different businesses, Chevy Chase Liquor being one of them. I also talked to CVS about having more cameras back there too. They kicked that one to corporate, but I did recently in the last week send out more information for businesses about that program so that they could get more cameras and get reimbursed for that and make sure that they're connected to the district too.
Captain, are you back? And if you are back,
I'm back. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Is that a yes?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very difficult. I mean, so while you were rewiring, Rachel talked about the incentive program the city has for cameras. I think separate from that is this issue of Connect, which is that for people like Ki-Yoon who has cameras on the parking lot, there is some arrangement that can be made between the police and the business owner so that video goes directly to him. Could you just explain what that program is and how businesses partake of it?
Yes. So we have a Camera Connect program that goes through the RTCC. And if any of the businesses want to connect to that, they could just email me and I'll email the link. It's on our MPD webpage, and you could get started on linking that to our real-time crime center. So that means that our headquarters crime center downtown can view cameras footage in real time up in Chevy Chase in front of businesses. And it's quite an asset when crime it allows us to get information about the crime quicker than just a 911 call.
With your permission, Captain, I'm gonna just put your email in the chat. It is Darren, D-A-R-R-E-N .Haskis, Haskis @dc.gov. Is that correct?
Correct, and I'll drop it in
Yeah,
the
it's
chat as
already
well.
there, Peter. It's at the beginning of the chat. If you scroll up, it's all there, the email and the name.
Okay, great, great. I put it in.
So, interesting comment from Mr. Yoon, who's got 32 cameras and 32 cameras, and they do nothing to deter crime. So, I wanted to ask, I had a question. I'm not sure if we're getting to it, but my question is this an uptick in Chevy Chase, Captain? Or what's the pattern citywide? And what do you think in your experience in this position is the real deterrent?
I think the real deterrent is catching them, which we will eventually do. It's really been 3 neighborhoods that have been getting hit hard with this. It's been Chevy Chase, Friendship Heights, and Spring Valley, that shopping center area where Spring Valley and AU Park meet on Massachusetts Avenue.
No. You there? Captain, we lost you again.
Give him a minute. He'll be back. He's coming back.
But,
No. You there?
hello?
Yep, we can hear you again. Talk
Is
fast.
I will talk. So it's really 3 neighborhoods that have been most hit. It's been Chevy Chase, Friendship Heights, and the Massachusetts Avenue border of AU Park and Spring Valley. There, where the Crate and Barrel is, where the
Well, when he comes back, I mean, I think one of the questions that we need to ask is this a first time? It's felt like, basically these kinds of incidents happen further down Connecticut, further down Wisconsin, closer to the city center. And I guess I wonder, following up on your question, whether this is a kind of first time rash up here. Not the first time we've seen crime, but I mean, whether this is much more coordinated than we've seen before. Captain, are you there?
Yes, so they've been focusing on our border areas with Maryland. And Maryland, I talked to Montgomery County earlier this week, and I speak to them regularly, and they've been getting hit with a rash of things as well. So I think they've been getting a wider variety of crimes on their end lately. I know they had a carjacking on Wisconsin Avenue and the Bethesda Chevy Chase area there recently, and a bunch of burglaries of liquor stores. But we've been getting more on theft from autos, Wisconsin Avenue close to the Maryland border, Massachusetts Avenue close to the Maryland border, and Connecticut Avenue close to the Maryland border. It's like other neighborhoods are actually down on theft from autos, like Woodley Park has not had the increase that Chevy Chase has had. So it's been more in the border areas that we've had the theft from autos increasing.
Other questions?
Any ideas to why?
I think that the main perpetrators on this, that's what they are finding easiest to do. I think they're using vehicles, and I think I'm just guessing here. These are less dense neighborhoods, and it's easier to go in and out of a less dense neighborhood with a car. So I think, I think they're making good use of the border of Maryland and DC as well.
Absolutely. Yep.
So can I turn briefly to this issue of homeless or disorderly people in the neighborhood? I have to say that we had some problems last summer that I got called in on, Pete Guskus at Parthenon and so on. And we did a session during the summer. I found the takeaway very discouraging. The police can only do so much, and the center of gravity for doing something is divided between some nonprofits. In our area, Friendship House and Miriam's Kitchen. And I have to say that it sounds as if this divided authority wasn't working as recently as last summer. And now these organizations think they're going to get drained dry of any financing. So we have a real problem here. And I guess what I'd ask, I will try to generate a list that I promised last summer to generate, and frankly, I didn't follow up on it, which is phone places to call to get immediate, some sort of immediate service.
Peter,
yes.
I have that list.
Great.
All right. That's what I was going to talk about. I have that list. I've spoken to Friendship Place, and so part of District Bridges, which is the organization that houses Chevy Chase Main Street, we have a program in Ward 1 called Community Navigation, and they work mostly at the plaza in Columbia Heights, connecting unhoused people and people who are going through drug rehabilitation with services. So they've kind of done that community connection piece in Ward 1, and I've been working with them to come up with a similar network in Wards 2 and 3. Just we don't have the same density up here in a lot of our neighborhoods, but we do have a lot of the same issues. And I know last summer at one of our first Fridays, we had an individual who was in incredible mental health distress that required like all of my attention for that day, calling DBH, and it eventually ended in this person needing medical services just because of how things were escalating throughout the day. So after that happened, I reached out and started collecting all that information for resources in our neighborhood, putting it together in a little one-pager too.
So so Rachel, so I understand this, you've gotten this around to businesses on the avenue.
They don't have it yet, but I have all of the information. It is ready to print and get to them.
That's great. Yeah. That is really great. So I would just encourage people to try to use those services, but also to let Rachel, and let us, the ANC, know if you get results, either positive or negative. I was very discouraged. I mean, I think the police do what they can in situations that are acute, but they have a very difficult time doing much.
Yeah. And to Janelle's point in the chat about all of those other resources, those are great to have. And I'm hoping to put all of this stuff on like a laminated piece of paper to get to all the businesses so they can just have them at their front desks. Sometimes the access helpline and all of the other DBH lines do get overtaxed, especially in the summertime. So being able to kind of triage that out to some of the different care centers throughout our ward is also incredibly helpful. A lot of places don't staff until later in the evening. Most of their services go out around, dinner time through the evening. So if you're having a distress situation at noon, there might not be somebody who's able to assist at that time. So putting all of that together, I also wanted to give a quick plug to last summer after this whole thing happened at one of our first Fridays. I did a training in management of aggressive behavior and de-escalation. And so that's another thing that I hope to be able to offer some of our service industry businesses. I used to be like a bartender and a bar manager, and being able to de-escalate situations when you have people come in, especially on patios, disturbing your patrons, the sort of thing that Melina was talking to, where people are just interacting with children in a way that's disturbing, disruptive, and you don't know what to do about it. That particular training is something that I'm hoping to be able to offer some of our businesses in the springtime as outdoor season picks up too. So that is 100% front of our mind for Chevy Chase Main Street.
Okay, and then Captain, I mean, before we lose you, this whole issue of
I hope not.
drug dealing in the parking lots is new to me. What do we know about that, and what can we do about it?
I've not heard many reports of drug dealing in parking lots. I will have my crime suppression team check it out. But if somebody has more details, please feel free to email me so I could forward that to the officers on the ground so we could set something up. If there's something regular and some kind of operation going, we of course can get an operation going as well.
Melina,
Captain,
you
as I
remember what that
mentioned,
was?
yeah, as I mentioned, there's going to be, I mean, I made a report, a crime ban came out. So there's, I can,
If you could give the date of the report and
yeah, I can dig it out. I could try and dig it out, but I'm
or
like,
if you
2-gallon giant Ziploc full of like 20s and ones and
was this
then
a
like
one or
lots of weed and like not like giant but like separate, like you can tell it was like sandwich bags, and they were stuffed under the seat, and in the back seat there was just like this giant gallon bag of like cash, two of them. And I was just like, that's not good. That's not a homeless person parking in my back parking, taking a nap that I feel guilty about disturbing. And one of my students was like, you need to call police, you need to call police. So I did. And they came out, and yeah, so there's a report. And of course, they couldn't do anything. The car left. I don't think we even got a license plate. But I'll dig it out.
current
What?
Say it again, Captain.
regular occurrence?
I haven't seen them again, but I've seen homeless people pee on the, in my back parking lot. And there's stuff. There's regular occurrence of what was the right word? I'm sorry, I'm searching
I
for the
think
right
it
word.
was
It's just,
June from June B. Sweet that had talked about the regular drug dealing
yeah, June
going on. It
happening.
was
Yeah,
not Melina so much. It was more June. If you're still on, maybe you can talk about that a little bit more.
you're muted, June. You're
Yeah.
muted.
Muted. You're muted.
Here we go.
There you go.
Yes, I do see transactions happen in front the bus stop. There's two bus stops, one in front of our store and one on the other side. So I see a guy hangs there on his backpack, and then they just swap things between bus, or one come in, other get out. So there's certain level of drugs is happening right there early in the morning. Like we open the store around 10:15, 10 o'clock, 10:30. So it happens, and it's, I would say 2 to 3 times a week. I see almost like the same, not same person, but a very similar behavior. I don't know why the amount of marijuana comes and contaminates now. Totally contaminated to the point that it's, if the clients come to my store, they even think we're the one because it's so contaminated. I noticed that they sit on a little bit curb by Magruder's parking lot too. I don't know if it has an association with some guys that work back there on what is it, the painting store, because there are some things happening there too. But I don't know. I just noticed that it's this, I would say, for the past 8-9 months, it's been frequently something happen in terms of a transaction. I also just want to tell you, officer, I do have the cameras with the clip of the footage. And then coincidentally, I did my own detective. So because they swapped my credit card several times at Harris Teeter, I took my footage to Harris Teeter's. She said she could not share her footage with me, but she took my phone and she went on her camera and I watched her, the supervisor watching, and she said it was the same guys. So she has her footage, my footage. So it links the both guys that came to the store. And I really, truly believe we were a target. We were not random. And somehow I almost back of my head, one of them, I have seen him before in our neighborhood.
Okay, we need to
Well-
go to Pat. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We'll follow up. I'll follow up with the detectives on that case, and I'll task Lieutenant Oliveira with following up on some of the drug complaints. We take all of this seriously.
Right.
Lee-
I think the braveness coming from the drug, he was for sure very high the moment he walked in, completely high. And I think that's how they feel brave and know that we hopeless. We're not gonna do anything, and we're just gonna let them do their business. But anyway, my footage is very good. My camera grabs, takes step by step of them for 11 minutes. So it's very, very clear of the guys. And I really, like I said, one of them, I'm almost positive I have seen him several times in our neighborhood with the drugs that I'm telling you about.
Please
Of
email.
seeing transactions.
Yeah, please email me if you see him again or call
Yes.
9.
Lisa, do we have questions in the chat?
Yep, one question I want to raise. Kathy Ledane had put this in here a couple times. She wants to know what can MPD, and she also asked this about WMATA, do about drug dealing at the bus stops on McKinley Street. So Captain Haskis, if you could maybe answer this from the perspective of MPD jurisdiction versus WMATA jurisdiction. And from my understanding, WMATA's jurisdiction is actually on the bus stop itself, and I could be wrong, is MPD jurisdiction. Can you explain that?
So, yes. So, yeah, I think you have it stated it perfectly, Commissioner. MPD takes the bus stops and WMATA takes the buses. WMATA could, I mean, it's one of those, what DC is very much known for, gray areas. WMATA, if they wanted to do something at the bus stop, they certainly can. So, and PD, by that matter, could also do something on a bus if it wanted to as well. But primary jurisdiction, MPD, the bus stop, WMATA, the bus. And if there are drug complaints, please email me details, and I will task those out to be followed up upon. And if I could get as many details on that as possible, we don't have a lot of resources for, sitting all day at a spot and just, specific times, vehicles, stuff like that. Anything that will, because we don't have unlimited resources, anything that could help, make it as specific as possible would be great.
Others, anything else in the chat there, Lisa?
I think we good. You got a hand raised, so.
No, former Commissioner Lynch. Go ahead, Peter.
Oh, thanks, commissioners, for holding the meeting, and thank you, Captain Haskis, for being here. This is a little bit off topic. I was wondering if you have direction on what your relationship would be to ICE if they were performing duties within our ANC or within the ward.
So MPD doesn't work at all with ICE. We don't communicate. I've ever, in my 19 years at MPD, I've never worked with ICE. We don't do any kind of anything with ICE.
And in the changing dynamic, you think that will remain the same, or that's just as it is right now?
I don't see DC government changing anything, but I mean MPD is governed by DC government.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yep.
We're going to have to wrap up soon. Do others? I want to be sure that people have had their say here.
Ruth has her hand up.
What's that?
Ruth has her hand up.
Oh, Ruth, I'm sorry. Hi, Ruth Robbins.
Yes, I'm sorry, I couldn't get into the chat. I just have a quick question. There seems to be, there is a new camera that's been mounted on the lighting, the lighting pole on the medium adjacent to the circle. It was put in just prior to the inauguration. And I'm wondering if the police department has access to that light, to that camera, or if that's a DDOT camera, and if the two speak to one another.
I believe that's a DDOT. I'll have to double check. I don't want to speculate. Is, to my knowledge, not a police camera. And if it's a DDOT camera, we do have access to them.
Good to know. Thank you.
No.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you all for coming, and thank you, Captain. And given what you said about having good picks and good leads, I hope you bring us good news soon about some of the immediate perpetrators. And it does sound as if, and I'm really pleased to hear that, Rachel, you have this list for what I think is an enduring problem that's very difficult to deal with, and giving people the right numbers is a huge help. We'll keep working this. And the other thing I take away from this conversation is a lot of owners seem to have cameras. I understand, Melina, what you're saying, and June, what you're saying, that people still act with impunity in front of them. I wonder whether, though, you ought to get wired up to police so that they can use these images faster and more immediately. This Connect program that, and I think if you email the captain, he can put you to the right people. Is that correct?
Please do. And I distribute these images throughout the entire police department. So I'm, even to include MoCo. So they're very helpful. And I just also want to just reiterate, we will eventually catch them, but the best deterrent in the meantime is please just visitors, family visiting, business visitors, please don't leave valuables in the vehicle or anything visible in the vehicle.
Hey, Captain, in terms of being creative, I'm an artist, so you can expect that from me. How about we get an Apple tag for you and purposely leave something in a car, have it stolen, and then you can track it down. Because that's a $30 investment. I'm just thinking about the ways to help you, because you're saying the best deterrent is to catch them. And what I'm thinking is summer's around the corner and we have a hell of a lot of kids in the neighborhood. My daughter's growing up. She wants to walk everywhere. And I'm like, great. Not so great. When I'm, the homeless person that I passed today was like yelling obscenities at me, calling me, trying to get my attention, like loud, pointing. My daughter would not feel safe in the presence of this kind of a person. So, would you like to, if I did that, would you like to know about it?
Well, we have some operations that involve air tags and stuff, but I don't want to speak about it much.
Okay.
So, but we do appreciate if you could email me, we could definitely, but
I mean, they called the United Healthcare assassin in like a hot minute. there's technology out
Uh,
there. We should use the technology that's capable. So tell us how we can help you. And I mean, you have business owners
I
here who are being affected.
don't have 200 detectives pouring through video for me on this, so but
AI?
the also limited in that regards. But yeah, no, any suggestions, please email me. They're appreciated.
Okay.
Lisa, you have your hand up, and then I think we need to bring this to a close for tonight.
So I was just gonna piggyback on what Captain Haskis was saying on the cameras, and we also had on the Chevy Chase chatter. Captain Haskins, I will send you an email after this is over, along with the photograph of a TFA this afternoon, I think in my single member district or Commissioner Fennessy's. But the other thing I want folks to keep in mind, especially the business community and joining the business community's camera program, is evidence, video evidence, and photographic evidence makes easy cases. So if you go to a prosecutor and you have photos or you have videos, it makes your casework a lot easier. So might not deter people, but it sure and heck helps out the investigative and prosecution effort.
Good
So
point.
keep in mind of that as well.
Okay. Okay, with that, thank you all for coming. Thank you, Captain Haskins, and let's see if we can break the back of this problem. Talk to you soon. You know where to find your ANC. Good night.
Thanks for
Thank
coming,
you.
everyone.
Have a great weekend.
You too.